Tucker Carlson taking on a university professor who criticized an act of kindness toward a U.S. soldier on board an airplane. That professor tweeting this got a lot of attention. Some guy just gave up his first-class seat for a uniformed soldier. People are thanking him. I'm trying not to vomit or yell about Mosul. That tweet led to this fiery exchange last night.
I think it's really irresponsible to blindly support, for example, wars that send off young people into combat, risk their lives, kill many others, as we've just seen in Mosul, 200 people incinerated by U.S. bombs.
You're blaming the soldier. You're not blaming the policymakers.
Oh,
you're saying,
not.
You're
Absolutely
saying giving up a seat for a soldier in uniform made you want to vomit. You're not saying giving up a seat for the guy who made the war policy, but for the soldier, the guy who's risking his life. Why'd that make you feel like throwing up?
Bernie Goldberg, former network news producer and a Fox News contributor, and with me now to Miami. Morning, Bernie. You lived through the 60s. I mean, you saw this thing repeatedly back then. Can you make sense of that comment there?
No, I can't make any sense of that. I mean, there's an important scientific point that this guy helps us understand, that you could be a college professor and have a high IQ and still be an idiot, which he clearly is. Look, during the Vietnam era, there were lots of anti-war protests. Fine, perfectly legitimate. But some anti-war protesters verbally assaulted soldiers who had just come back from Vietnam. Some of them, there were reports, actually spit on those soldiers. If there was one lesson, Bill, that liberals learned from Vietnam, it was don't take it out on the troops. You don't like policy, that's fine.
Wow.
But don't take it out on the troops.
Hence the reason why you had the red, white,
get the memo.
The red, white, and blue flags at the Democratic convention this past year, which was, I thought, a political stroke of genius on behalf of Hillary Clinton. Remember the flags all walked in the arena in Philadelphia? They got the point.
No, that's right. They got the point, and most liberals, I would say almost all liberals, got the point. They understand that you don't disrespect the soldiers who went to fight if you don't like a policy. This man, this professor, is unserious, he's unimportant, and fortunately, I don't know which amendment it is, but there's an amendment to the United States Constitution that says you're allowed to be a moron. And this guy clearly is
Bernie,
exercising his constitutional right.
I think it's okay to be anti-war, but you don't take it out on the individual. You don't know the reason why he signed up and served us.
Of course, and you think that any person with half a brain would know that. This is not the only thing he's done that fits into the category of idiotic. At Christmas time, just a few months ago, he put out a tweet that said, all I want for Christmas is white genocide. So he has more than political issues. He's got psychological issues. But I think, again, I think you have a right to be stupid, and I'm not calling for his dismissal yet. I want to know, and I think this is very important, Bill, I want to know where the president of Drexel University and where the Board of Governors stands on this. I want to know, where do they draw the line? There must be a line someplace. What if he had tweeted at Christmas time, all I want for Christmas is black genocide? Would that be acceptable to the president of Drexel University? This man is an embarrassment to the school. The school doesn't have to fire him. They may say, we have a wide range of opinions that we tolerate, but tell us, what don't you tolerate?
I guess the last point to be made here, and we'll see whether or not Drexel gives an answer on that, but this professor called it an empty gesture. You've been on these flights. Have you ever looked at that and considered that an empty gesture? When you think of the bruising, the national bruising we had after the Vietnam War, it took us decades to get over that. And then we were attacked on 9/11, and so many men and women signed up to defend and serve. And they realigned the national argument on our U.S. military. And I mean, sadly, in some circles, we're still fighting that today. I'll give you the last word on that, Bernie.
Well, first of all, it's not an empty gesture. If he thinks it is, he has that right. But the person who gave up his seat for the soldier didn't think it was an empty gesture. But I wonder if this professor would think it was an empty gesture if somebody had a first-class seat and gave it up to a poor black woman. He brought up race. I didn't, by the way. To a poor black woman who was going to be sitting in a middle seat on row 36. Would that be an empty gesture, too? Look, let me repeat something I said, and I'll be brief. He's unserious, he's unimportant, and in a country of over 300 million people, there are going to be a few jerks, and he clearly is one of them.
I'll repeat, it's okay to be anti-war. Don't take it out on the men and women. Thank you, Bernie. Bernie Goldberg there in Miami, Florida. You bet.